for putting that together for us and helping us just get through that again this year, Lorraine. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Will you please join me in the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Audience introduction. Hi, Steve. Welcome. Thanks for being here again. Number 2, approval of agenda. Is there anything we need to make any changes on? If not, could I get a motion? I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Agenda passed. Item number 3, delegation of visitors. I don't think we have anybody to speak. Okay, item number 4, items of information for the board. Steve, you're up. HMK update.
All right. Well, as you can see, we're making progress with the seismic upgrade. And on schedule with underfloor framing and anchors, wall bracing, and as it goes out, they'll be able to start opening up the food floor and excavating, get new footings in, start roof tear off here soon to get the new roof on. So they're making good progress. They're doing a great job on schedule. So the main phase is our review this week. And we should have, we'll have a final bid results from July 8th. Start do what we can to get the final GMP together and ready for peer review. Any questions?
And then when we get that, we'll get it to you folks so you have some time to review it. We discussed it all.
Right. Yeah. So we'll get it before the 8th, though, to review it, right?
No,
We're giving it to you on the 8th.
No, the final bid results, we'll get in 30 days. So we'll need, usually 2 or 3 days to kind of work back and forth with them, we'll get it to you, right? And that's when we'll be ready.
So about a week before the board. You know, like we discussed last time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just want to make sure you didn't get it the day before.
no, yeah, right. Appreciate it.
Okay.
For me, July 14th.
18th.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think, that's a little bit later on. Will we need him for anything, do you, board members think, for the one that we got from McMullen?
For the
For
amendment,
the amendment?
what do you think?
$100,000.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Steve. We'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, so we'll move on to our report, the superintendent report.
Hold on just a second, please. We'll just put it over here. So just kind of a hodgepodge of items here, talking about, the end of the year and how much we're thankful for everybody that's in our school community. Really, that last 3 months was a lot better than the first 6 months as far as feeling a lot more unified. I think that it was palpable. I do want to say again, I appreciate some of the activities our high school students were trying to put together, with whether it was the field day, which we didn't know how that would go over. It seemed to be very well received. Very well received. Received. Thank you. Like that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Received by the high school students. Appreciate it. And
We've come to appreciate Katie as our word
Yes, thank you, Betty. But, you know, just overall, the students had a really good attitude finishing out the year, and I appreciate the willingness of our staff overall to try to get kids doing some activities. Summer happenings, you see our incoming kindergarten students will have an opportunity to work with our new teacher and some students with Western Oregon in August to gear up for a new year. Polk County's been doing this with some other districts, and we're looking forward to doing that. It's not associated with state summer learning or anything like that. It's just a separate, it's kind of, it's called Gear Up, and it's just kind of like a little camp. Our new kindergarten teacher is going to be doing that, and her and Christy Ford have been working on it. Also have school-based mental health specialists available for our students. She'll be doing some stuff in Dallas, doing some items here, and then doing some other activities with us as well for our kids. So trying to reach a variety of students, and the reason in Dallas, we have some of our students in Dallas. So trying to make some hours available there at the office there that they have at the academy. And then high school, middle school athletic programs, various camps and opportunities during the summertime. You know, like those of you who have athletes understand it's quite the process usually for athletes throughout the year, but we have a lot of people that want to continue to work on their different activities throughout the summer. So it's finding that balance with not trying to kill the kids, especially if they do multiple activities and work. And, you know, I remember trying to work around the farming schedule of Brian and Greg back in the day, and they weren't the only ones. So trying to make sure it all balances out. And then our staffing position changes. We talked about that. Again, the farewell to Mrs. Thompson and Mrs. Nicely for all that they've done for our school and our students. And we have some classified employees that are going to be greatly missed, like Whitney Hurst, Haley Smith, Susie Lambert, and Misty Scott, and then Paul Pena as well. And then again, you know, we have Lorraine who's going to be moving on. So, you know, we said a little farewell at our staff luncheon Thursday afternoon. And, you know, also like to welcome our new staff members, Caitlin Hutchinson, Emma Jimenez, and Ellie Solom. And then Cindy will be taking over their business manager role. And then Julie Wilson going into that math specialist position. So a lot of changes, but I think we're in a pretty good position. We'll be looking to do our instructional assistant and kitchen hires about partway through July. We opened those positions up today, I believe. And then we'll have interviews probably around July 14th and 18th. So we have scheduled.
Lori, what's your last day?
The 20. Okay.
From the day.
We will miss you. Yeah, very much.
And then send off, again, congratulations to our class of 22. I think it went really well. We had a lot of people saying how much they appreciated it. Again,
Short
it's
and sweet. You're done.
what's that?
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
It was really,
Eighth grade graduation was too.
yeah,
It was nice.
it's a great group that we had just graduate too. And, you know, be exciting to see where they all end up. So look forward to interacting with them in the future.
And I'll tell you that the Harrydale graduation was much preferred to that giant tour from Washington. So that small, intimate graduation.
Great.
Thank you guys for that.
That I really was pretty moved by one of the valedictorian speech was nice, but to hear one of our valedictorians really said some very kind words, and both of them did about our school, but one particular, you know, it was just pretty moving. I felt one of the more moving speeches we've had here before. So. But the salutatorian one was not. It was about 30 seconds long, saying, "Here's our valedictorian." So
That's
didn't really
literally
want
what
to
she
speak.
said.
Yes, that's
It was hilarious.
exactly what she said. Yes,
But the best part was definitely the choir.
yes.
That-
So
It derailed very quickly, but it was good. It was good. It was
Laughter.
the end of it. Yeah, it was very.
So that's it for superintendent. Christy's not able to be here. She is doing one of her classes for her admin program. So I can go over that one next. Celebrate the summer elementary class participating in the 25-day countdown with activities such as glow day, ice cream day, crazy hair day, and visit next year's teacher day. First grade created a zoo in their classroom as part of an animal research project. Students from other grade levels visited our zoo asking questions of the researchers. Pirate Sounds performed at Capitol Manor alongside the high school choir. Fifth grade bike trail went off. It was a little bit different this year because of the bridge being shut down, but they made the best out of it and ended up at Amity Park. We got a lot of parents there, which is great to see. Eighth graders. What's that?
How'd they get?
The bus took them the other part of the way. So by the monastery, they hopped on the bus and was there and then came back.
So they come all the way back or they go out through Whiteman?
I'm not sure how they went back on the bus.
The bikes were left there and the cadets watched them while the bus took them. And the bus came back to the same spot. They hopped on their bikes.
And rode back.
Yeah.
Very creative.
And then the eighth graders traveled to Seaside and the zoo as a substitute for that eighth grade trip. Middle school students went on the rewards trip to Oaks Park. Seventh grade students went on a historical scavenger hunt in Salem, and the eighth grade promotion was held on that Monday. Kindergarten promotion of Mrs. Thompson's surprise retirement celebration was held on June 15th. And well, you know why I'm laughing.
She was so angry.
Well done, students
yeah.
are
She
ready
did
for
not want a
summer.
surprise party.
We are also very excited about next school year. Planning has already begun. So that was our elementary, middle school report.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was, definitely surprised.
Darn, and I was stuck at work. I would love to have seen that.
I like that.
All right, I did not get my board report in time, so, I think you were sent the email, but, we've got 29 students who are, receiving services through an IEP. We've been packing up our rooms, both of our rooms we've been using for summer and construction. We're gonna continue with our adaptive PE class. We got a lot of positive feedback from that, so, I've already talked to the leadership teachers and we'll be doing that again once a week. And we're gonna continue our agreement for school site services through Dallas School District. It worked really well this year.
Okay. And thank Troy again for his good report. Does anybody have any questions with him, the report or any comments?
I don't know if they really are in need of new gutters, but I think Troy's trying to be pretty efficient there, so we'll assess those and see where we need to go right there. So I need to add gutters just to the doorway side, I guess is where he's going with that one. So you want some more permanent cover over the entrance or the floor doors. It does a little bit wet up there, but you know, at the same time, nothing I can do with it. So
That's what you do with a handful of concrete.
Right.
we got it out a few days later. We wanted to let it harden a little bit. On their note, they said 2 weeks. We kind of chuckled at that, but we left it there for a couple of days. We did have a student who ran into it, so we had to have a younger kid. So we had to make sure we got that out of the way. But I will say the seniors, it was all in good fun. I mean, I think all of us were pretty happy with some of the things that they did. And, thought they were pretty.
To drive by
Very good.
and witness them having class outside. It's wonderful.
With breakfast delivered there.
Oh, they got
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah, we had
over here?
breakfast delivered there too.
What did I say to you when you told me that?
You weren't real excited.
I hoped it rained,
Yeah, exactly.
but it did.
I didn't.
No, it was a very nice.
It was
It
beautiful
was
out
a beautiful
there.
morning.
It was a beautiful morning, and I was so proud of her. Just like, okay, well, this is where we're having class.
Yeah,
Did
like-
she know what was happening, or did she show up into your class there?
Shut up and talk.
Yeah, she didn't know. Well,
Right,
hold on. I actually sent a text saying you're having class outside today.
Okay.
So,
I was because she looked like she was just in good spirits and just doing it.
Wyatt got home, he's like, is it supposed to rain tonight? I'm like, I don't know, did you check the weather forecast?
they hadn't
He
looked
started, it was
beforehand.
like 11 o'clock at night, he's like totally second guessing everything.
I thought they
basketball team
had
got back,
checked.
and Braylon called me. You think it's okay that they're moving the class outside? They're moving the class outside. I was like, is it seniors? He goes, I go, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty selective. They did a good job with which furniture pieces to take out there, so
Good.
it was good, and they helped set it back up later on too, so. The other classroom with all the balloons was fantastic as well, so.
Good.
Yeah, it's great.
Good for the seniors.
And when we're done here, if you want to go take a look in the old gym and see some of the progress in there as well.
Sounds good. Okay, Steve, spotlight on education.
Yeah, so this month, I just mentioned it earlier, the high school leadership group had been really involved, as you talked about with Aaron did with the adaptive PE program, and they plan on continuing that next year, as you heard. We have 2 leadership people next year because Ms. Crawford's on maternity leave the first half of the year. So Mrs. Rayburn and Ms. Crawford, and they're both going to make sure we're continuing that. But a lot of the activities that they did the second half of the year were pretty outstanding, as I alluded to earlier. We're really happy with, just the direction that they had to try to get kids more involved over the last couple months. And very thankful for that. I found a lot of their ideas were very successful. And some, a student right at the end of the year that they felt like we did some stuff that other places weren't able to do this year. And they were very thankful that, we ended up doing a homecoming, and we did a winter formal and prom, et cetera, but some of the other activities as well. So, I listened to those high school students, and your daughter is one, but we had some other high school kids that, would come in and chat about their vision of what they wanted to do and why they thought it was effective, and try to listen to what their needs were. And I felt like they did a really good job expressing that and expressing what the need was for it and how they can make it successful. I thought that was really good. So I was proud of them and the different items that they did this year. So thank you to those students.
All right, item 4D, resignation of Haley Smith, general ed instructional assistant, Missy Scott, kitchen assistant, Paul Penna, custodial. On E, new hires, Emma Jimenez, is that how you say her?
It is how she said it, yes.
And 5th grade, Kaylin Hutchinson. Sped is empty.
No,
Kaylin is sped.
Okay,
Emma's 5th grade.
thank you. So Emma Jimenez is our 5th grade. Kaylin is our sped teacher, correct? Correct. Thank you. And how do you say Elizabeth's last name?
Someone?
Solon? Is gonna be middle school or 6th grade, right?
Middle school, she'll work a lot with, she'll be the 8th grade homeroom teacher, but
6th grade.
what we've tried to do is to have it so all 3 of those teachers are involved with the different classes.
Don't they move around?
They do.
Yeah.
So she'll have all 3 classes throughout the day.
Is there any comments on those?
No.
We're excited for the new hires and sad to see our staff go. Item F, bell discussion. So we had our community, I guess I should just tell you guys, did anybody receive emails about the bells being returned to the bell, the old school?
Just the notices for the meeting, but not anything outside of
No
that.
emails that I,
I received multiple. How many do you receive? I think I had
3.
4. We received 3. Just requesting that the bell be returned to the old school. My kids first were enrolled at Perry Dell, we used that. We didn't have the Legion. Now 20 years old.
So I call it the big gym now.
Okay, big gym. We didn't have the big gym. We had the old gym, and in the old gym, we would ring the bell after games that we won. And so some of the complaints in the emails were that the bell isn't being utilized, and that the students don't even know it's there anymore, and they don't know the history of that. But some of the feedback in the emails. So basically we have the community meeting just to get feedback, get historical information about the bell. Do you want to share did you bring the title? Did you bring that with you? For the
Oh, I
bell?
have that on my desk. I didn't know you wanted that. I can go grab it if you want.
Okay.
I was just grab the thing about the gym. I just had that one on my desk.
Oh, you did? Yeah, yeah.
You want me to go grab the other one?
No, you go ahead and just share about that real quick.
Well, this is just a little bit of just history in general is what we were looking at if we, depending on what happened with the bell, but one of a couple of individuals that came, their dad had provided quite a bit of education. And what John Cruikshank had given us was some dates of the late 60s and 1970 about that bell coming to our school, and that's when the school absorbed the students from the Buell area and the deck, and those students became part of Perrydale. And the bell was to signify that merging of the two areas, coming together. And the idea was for the students to be able to see the bell here at the school. So, we had only about 5 people here in person that were talking about the bell, but we did have one person on, 2 people online. including Andrew.
And I did reach out to, I think I was able to get a hold of seven students who had graduated from Buell School. And their feedback was, well, if the Buell School is being restored, if it's a historical site for people to drive through and see it, then I guess it'd be nice to have the bell back at Buell Schoolhouse. But every single one of them ended with, but wouldn't it be better if the students used the bell at Perry? Wouldn't it be better if the bell stayed in public hands rather than back to private hands? A couple of them said that they remembered it being really important that the bell was here so that it wasn't stolen or put for scrap metal or damaged. So basically, all of them nobody was really strong in an opinion that I reached out to. Nobody was strong in an opinion of, yeah, it's got to come back to the school. They were kind of okay either way, as long as we promised the bell would be treasured and kept safe. There is a little concern that it does belong to Perrydale School now. It's part of public property. So returning it to a private home would take a little bit of work because it would need to be considered historical and being returned properly. And then there's always the fact that if the home gets sold, sure, maybe the current owner promises to keep the bell safe, but if the home gets sold, then how do you maintain keeping it in good shape? So all 7 of them eventually, by the time I was done speaking to them, said, oh, it's probably best that it stays at the school. We just want you to use it again. We just want you to tell the history again. And essentially that's what the outcome was. Is that how you perceived it at the community meeting? It was just that nobody even remembers who brought the bell here. There were names thrown out, but when I spoke to the widow of one of them, and when I spoke to the other name that was thrown out, they said, no, that didn't happen. One said,
You could have been there. But maybe
he says, I don't think I was, but that would have been a fun event.
Yeah.
I wish I would have been involved. Yeah, so nobody really even remembers, but there's a lot that do remember. Like the board chair at the time was Hal Stapleton, and so there's many that do remember at the time it wasn't like it was just, oh, Perrydale's doing really well, let's absorb Buell. Perrydale wasn't doing great, but they wanted the students to have a home. So it was just like they remember there was a sense of gratitude of thanks for taking the students, thanks for taking care of the school and keeping the bell.
So is the school now, it's a private home? It's a private
It is.
home.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, like Rick Real School is now a private home. Yeah.
But it's a home, it's not like a community, like private community center.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at the Rick Real. I thought that would be great. I'd be the world's best nana with a basketball court in my house. So I think the conclusion of the meeting was, we don't have a lot of community, I couldn't find anything other than the one person asking, other than, I would say, two of the people who sent me emails both really want it returned. One's not even really associated with the district in any way, shape, or form. They're more of Polk County history. And then the other person used to own the school that's now a home. They were the second owners of it after it was sold to them,
They're at least the second, maybe third.
second and third, and now it's the third or fourth owners right now.
Oh, they were the second. Yeah, this is the third.
This is the third, correct. So they sent, and they had students that attended here with some of my older kids, and they would like it. She's pretty adamant. She'd like it returned to the schoolhouse. She thinks it belongs at the original schoolhouse site. But everybody else, like the students, the people from the community, the people who were part of the school being started, the people whose family, whose fathers and grandfathers owned land and gave it to the school so it could exist, they all want the bell to remain here and be taken care of. So at this point in time, unless the board wants something different, I think that, you know, if you guys want to take a path of doing more investigating, if you want to have more community meetings, if you guys want to do that, that's fine. But I think at this time, we probably should just encourage our administration to, or work with our administration to find a way to utilize the bell. Some of the resounding statements were, the bell is pretty fond of me. It used to call me to school every morning, and it called me in from recess every day. I heard that like 4 out of the 7 times. So, you know, they have fond memories of that bell. And to them, that was how they went to school. I don't know if we want to call the students to school in the morning with the bell again. I don't know if we want to phone in from recess again. I don't know if we want to ring it after. Johnny Crookston for years wanted us to build a little bell tower up by the mechanical room door, right? And put the bell up there and ring it after a home game. I don't know. So
We do have a volunteer to do that.
we do, yes. So I don't know that we have an answer, but I don't know that we need to solve it. I think administratively, bring us a plan. We talked about maybe doing a mural of the history of Perrydale, maybe even getting a map with some overlays that shows the community, because you had McCoy, you had Bethel, you had Salt Creek, you had Buell. There was another school over off of Enterprise. No, between Buell and Enterprise somewhere. There was another school too, and all those schools dissolved, and Perrydale, along with other districts, absorbed some of that land. So it'd be kind of cool to show your Perrydale district with the interlace of what schools used to exist here. Maybe that would be pretty cool.
You can make wallpaper out of some of these items. That's my initial thought of that I told Trina. So that if we could do something with taking a map and putting it on wallpaper of these different areas, and you know, you don't have to, not like a huge detail map, but you know, just a generalized map of these spots, I think would be pretty cool. And we have like an old Letterman sweater that's in one of the cases in Oklahoma, and some of the history stuff, and we have the Biddles next door who would be willing to help us out with some of these items.
Are you
I
wanting
think
to
would be kind of cool.
hold photos from the elementary?
You know, we have the old school before it was, and that's what this part here is talking about, how it was lifted up. So some of that, the old band and the baseball team. We actually had the class of 62 and some others. There was the class of 59 person I talked with on Saturday as well. But we had a variety of former graduates that were here the other day, and some of them took me for a little tour, which was kind of nice to learn from some of them the other day.
And it used to be that all our old pictures were in the hallway because it led to the office, and it was the main entrance here at the school. And it's not anymore. So we probably should consider relocating our old pictures and creating more of a historical area, something that tells the past and the culture.
And I think there's some spots, 2 or 3 at least I can think of. One that's closer in the middle school area that is for like where more community may come over. That's the side of the trophy case area. We could always relocate trophy case a little bit somewhere if we needed to. But Another place would be at, down in here at the kind of the edge of that lounge area. Get rid of that sort of machine that's there and do something along that wall with a case with that vellum and have some of that other stuff there on that wall, which is closer to the entrance to the school. And then there's another place that, I think those would be the two best ones as far as being able to have people can see what they need to. If we did
And there's a
something
plaque
inside.
too.
I wouldn't call it plaque, but yeah, there's a writing on, I think, some tag board or something, but
Is that what it is?
yeah,
So maybe we could make something more.
sure.
Well, we don't know who really moved it.
Bill, we'll see. I doubt it, but we might be able to find out.
When was it there?
It was moved in the 70s.
It was probably moved in the fall or late summer of 1970.
Yeah, that's his family.
Might have been
Open
on
to
the-
his family.
I looked, I didn't see his name
Oh, okay.
on that.
Yeah.
I think that was just after his term, I
Yeah.
think. But he probably would,
You might know.
he might know, it'd be cool if you guys could ask.
Yeah.
Ask him, yeah. Anyway, I think that what we'll do is, maybe I'll write a little statement and reply to the request. And then have Cindy send it out to all of you and you guys, especially you, Katie, wordsmith it. And then we can have you can send it on for us as our response that, think of for the interest, we'll just be really respectful, but we want to keep it here and.
Yeah.
And we'll find a way to display it and make sure the history of Perrydale and the communities that were dissolved to create us today are, more widely known to our students and current membership here. You guys good with that?
You look at me like you're gonna say
I was gonna say, we have the, Kirk down, I think that's the old Fall Creek School, at their place. We have
Oh, really?
a Basketball hoop permit.
Yeah.
See, things like that.
That actually could be kind of cool on that wall.
Yeah.
I have that old ruler from the McCoy one.
Do you?
Yardstick. The old yardstick. I found it in the attic of my carriage shop shed. I don't really know where the school was. I think it was on the far corner of your sister's property. It was next to the general store. The original general store, not the second one that burnt down, the first one before it burnt down.
It was burned down to the one that burnt down, the sisters of one that burnt down.
Right? All right, well, I'll get that done tomorrow and send it to Cindy and to have her send out to you guys, okay? Okay, so we'll move on to item 5, consent agenda. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. We move on to item 6A, resolution 22-10, adopt budget.
Where do you want that?
I know, I just think they come in for these, and they have to read the whole thing.
You have to read the whole thing, which we've always made Anthony do.
All right, like me to read this? All right. Resolution number 22-10, adopting the budget, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Perrydale School District hereby adopts the budget for fiscal year 2022-2023 in the total amount of $17,382,913. This budget is now on file at 7445 Perrydale Road in Amos, Oregon. Making appropriations, be it resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022 for the following purposes.
I think that's what we did last year, just total, right, Larry?
You are approving by fund and then function.
The great general fund, $6,387,784. Debt services fund, $189,250. Special revenue fund, $2,146,029. Capital project fund, $8,759,850. Total appropriations, all funds, $17,382,913. Total adopted budget, $17,382,913. Imposing the tax, be it resolved that the following, and, oh my gosh, Valorum property taxes are hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district for tax year 2022-2023. One, in the amount of the rate of 4.5657 per thousand of assessed value for permanent tax rate taxes. Two, in the amount of the rate of 0 per 1,000 assessed value for local option tax. And three, in the amount of 200,000 for debt service on general obligation bonds. Categorizing the tax, be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for purposes of Article 11, Section 11B, as subject to the general government limitation, permanent tax rate 4.5657 per thousand assessed, local option tax 0 per thousand assessed, excluded from limitation, general obligation bond debt service 200,000. The above resolved statements were approved and declared adopted on June 20th, 2022.
Second.
Every time.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those approved? Aye. Any opposed? Adoption of the budget 22-10 passes unanimously. I'll have to borrow your black pen, because I only have a pretty yellow. Yeah, okay. Because my black pen is white. Okay, item 16, business manager contract.
Yeah, so Jenny's not able to be here tonight, but we had worked with Cindy Cruikshank, being our next business manager. Do you folks have a copy of the contract?
Never.
Okay, so what's that? Okay, so I can do this one of a couple ways. I can go print off the other copies and bring it to you. I thought that it was in here. That's my fault, but I sent it on to Jenny as well to make sure she was good with that. So my fault, I should have quoted it in front of you folks. But I can go get a copy of that real quickly and bring it back to you if we want to put that down there for a second. But I apologize for that.
Sure, we can move on.
Yeah, if that's all right.
I think you want to be here for that one though too, right? The MOU.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we'll just pause.
Bob, okay, great,
Yeah,
thank you.
it doesn't
I'll be right back.
have to be a skip that you don't need to be here for.
Okay.
They did the certified one already.
Dan, I also don't have the MOU. Do you have it?
Yep, I've got that.
Okay. I did physically see it, but it's not in my packet, and I didn't.
Yeah, I was
thinking
thinking
the
of the
same thing.
pen.
I just thought it, but.
That's mine, it died.
The Sharpie one?
Yes,
My new favorite.
I just bought them, I bought one pack to try and then I went back and bought 2 more packs.
I have every color too.
I've only seen black so far.
Oh, Kirk.
And I was a little
Kirk
nervous
wants the blue
because
one.
they were
Me
on
too.
clearance at Walmart. I'm like, why are these on clearance? Does that mean they're going to get rid of them?
Oh,
I don't know.
no, the S-Gel Sharpies? No, they can't. Oh, now I'm gonna go buy a whole bunch.
I only bought 2. There were some left when I left the
Well, I
store.
order them online, but see, I have mine right here. But she just died on me. I also have kind of worn out the word Sharpie on there. I think I've been.
This is the one that I have been using.
Okay.
The Papermate Ink Joy. These were my favorites.
Oh, yeah. I
Now-
moved on from those a long
I
time
need
ago.
to try that one. To see if I
The
like
ink
that
joy
one.
or the Sharpie? It's just a writing.
You just needed a break.
Like it. I have the green, the blue, the red,
Yeah,
the
I think
orange.
they were here last month.
I also like these. they're fatter and not as. And they leak. It's a great time.
Short time, like short
I
time.
don't like that.
Yep.
It just moves a little. Sometimes these inner gel leak too. Oh, ow, that hurt. No, no. Yeah.
I get it when I used to use it.
You said you just use a sprayer every day? I was gonna ask you something too about. Have you seen a lot of the poison hemlock on your property?
No,
It's all up and down Highway
No, they didn't
22.
have to,
I see it all up and down 99.
there wasn't any form or anything.
No,
wet year,
The old one.
Huh?
wet
A
year.
really wet year, I'm sure.
Which is. a lot of
We're gonna have to do it again next
Right.
year.
Speaking of, can we?
That was on
We're
the,
gonna have to do
I know
it
it's
for
nice that you have-
if there's a new repair, but it's really to wait.
But is it because it's
you
wet?
did
Because it's
after,
wet.
after.
Students are gone.
He was gonna do it, yeah.
But I noticed like a lot of people's ditches aren't spread out. I think it's because it's been too wet.
Yeah, they.
I do have it down in my other notebook.
Yeah. Well, mine's a little, like, and
Pretty sure.
everything else is sprayed on it. Half of it's dying, but half of it's not.
his name for
Yeah,
I
okay.
just told him what
Just one of those years.
to do.
I don't have the YouTube on, so I can't look anything up.
But yeah, that's, there you go. The one that's on the track,
Right by the
Yeah.
track.
that has briar bushes that are growing almost out onto the road.
What's it called? The hemlock, is it, I've heard, it's poisonous hemlock, is that what does it look like? Okay, yeah, I have.
Kind of little fern leaves with, and then
And then it has a white
flower.
flower that pops up out of the top. It, you know how, what's the other white flower? Tansy? You know, tansy's like more broad around like this. It's, the edges of it look like that, except for it just goes up like this instead of a big flat round flower.
Is that the one between the roads or
Mhm.
right down?
Yeah,
That is
that's
short.
the-
for
yeah,
check signing. Yeah.
I had heard or read that there was a bunch around, but I
Okay,
don't know.
I do have that. I have the old one, yeah.
Well, there was a whole bunch
But they
going up
just need
my
to say that,
Street
they
Road.
road, right?
I was like, oh, Sean, he's went out with the care of everything for me. Then I started to notice, oh my gosh, it's like,
I just call them there, say, I think.
I mean, for the most part, it's kind of like Kansas, the cows stay away from it, people just had it in their pastures and they would just eat around it.
Yeah, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that tastes a lot better.
Yeah.
They only eat that if there's nothing else.
well, you know, I raised a son who thought it was funny to pick it and rub it all over himself and then tried to chase his sister to hug her. And then he would also like get poison oak, which he knew she gets those sick from, and he would do something that to chase her down. Well, Nick. It'd be great if he would get sick from poison oak, then he wouldn't tease people horribly, but. And then I'm like kind of washing him with like Dawn dish soap to make sure I get all the poison off of him. He's the worst. Did you see what he did to me? I was on TV and he posts it and says, "Hey, if you want to log on to ESPN right now, my mom is calling because of that UCLA." And then he said, "I think her strike zone is a little tight."
Yeah.
But I always thought she was really strict raising us Amy. That's kind of how she is. I was like, oh, mom. Okay.
They have the gym.
Thank you, Lori.
I think it's, yeah, it's from the Salt Creek School. They moved it there. But I don't know if anyone's been in it and you might fall through it.
What is it?
The gym from the Salt Creek School is expert. No, yeah.
No,
I don't know if all of it is or half of it.
Yeah,
Somebody
no,
else
I
said they
haven't.
had it. So like, we have part.
Where exactly was the golf course school? Do you guys even know?
Kirk does, I think. I don't know. Somebody does.
I was trying to
Marvin
figure it
does. But it has like the hoop still up. I mean, I haven't been in it for 20 plus years. But, yeah.
you try to avoid it?
Well, there's a lot of things I try to avoid.
That's one of them, huh?
Yeah.
We found some dead birds right above the cafeteria door. Like plywood. Yeah, it's interesting. They got stuff in there. I'll show you guys.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Totally what I wanna
it's
see.
pretty interesting.
Bunch of dead birds.
I'm actually interested.
They're really, it looks like they're gonna just stare at you like this. Yeah. Kind of
Missy
creepy.
and I heard a bell this morning, like those bells that you have on the counter to get someone's attention. Except we were standing in the office and we don't have a bell like that on the counter.
You really heard it?
This morning, yeah, we looked at each other
Was
like,
it a
what was
big
that?
bell that rang out of the?
No idea, but we were looking all over for what we thought it could be and we had no idea. Then Lori said, they've been doing a lot of digging around underneath the school. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere alone now. Oh my God.
The HRA, this is just standard for what we have for all administrative.
Correct.
And the 255 days is the same as Lorraine's, right?
She actually has 250.
Okay. Sorry, we're making you work a little.
All right.
It all works out.
And the term life, we just increased it to that, right?
Yeah, everybody, and it actually ends up being less expensive
Right.
than the stuff we were doing before. What's that? F?
Oh, yeah. On the second or third sentence.
That's not
F, the
there yet.
business manager will be allocated to personal
Oh, it just doesn't.
L. Like you said, that part was standard.
Right.
So I will strike that and I'll redo that. I can just go put that out there.
Oh, I see. On F, I hadn't got there yet. Nine consolidated. Or, and they're listed out.
Let's go ahead.
Who am I writing down? at the
I
time?
won't get off the
Hey,
schedule. It's been moved and seconded by Katie. To approve the business manager contract. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome.
We know it's big shoes to fill. I know it's be a lot of work. We really appreciate you.
I'm excited.
All right, we're still gonna reach you.
And Lorraine, I want to appreciate
I'm gonna have her on
you,
speed
or
dial.
tell you how much I appreciate you and thank you for you working with Cindy this last month. It's
Oh,
been
yeah,
very
it's actually
helpful.
been a lot
About
of
6
fun.
weeks, I guess. And yeah, it's nice having a human interaction for you, I think, because definitely you've been able to laugh a lot more. So it's it's been nice to have you be able to do that with him. So I appreciate that. I think the district overall does too. So very nice. And then I can go ahead and print off another one with that quick change before we leave tonight.
Perfect, that sounds great.
Yeah, and then I'll do the other copy of the MOU for you with that. That date is the same as last time with the classified, the same as certified. We're trading the 2nd for the 16th. We just haven't approved it last time. And then I'll give you the copy of that.
For the
So we'll sign
MOU.
both of them, yeah. So we'll
Okay.
sign both of
So
them.
do you guys understand that?
No, I'm sorry. We're doing what now?
Remember the last meeting? Sorry, I was shifting gears.
Okay.
I apologize. The MOU for the classified
Yes.
is the same as we did for certified last month. We just hadn't had it on the agenda. And so we're trading the 2nd of January for the 16th. Because the 2nd of January, it says in the law that we cannot work with students that day, or we're able to have staff work that day. And so that was a trade just for 2023, and it doesn't impact their contract in the other year. Just let them know.
So I need a motion for
Yep.
that, please.
No, Katie.
Katie, do it.
So
So
moved.
moved.
So moved.
I'm writing that down.
I'll second that.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor for the MOU for 2023?
Hey,
Any opposed? MOU trade holiday passes unanimously. So for our fencing authority, you want to read again, Amber? No. Oh, she's so good at it.
Maybe you should sit next to her.
Right. Probably should.
Okay, back to
Mhm.
Yeah. There's no resolution.
No, it's not.
No,
but
but
it's just.
It's
Thank you.
just the banking authority.
Current authorized check signers in First Federal Savings and Loan are Dan Dugan, Lorraine Sullivan, and Shereen Comerford. This resolution will remove Lorraine Sullivan as an authorized check signer and add Cindy Cruikshank as an authorized check signer. This will make the authorized users Dan Dugan, Cindy Cruikshank, and Shereen Comerford.
There's a second.
Second.
just feeling left out over there. I just want to make
Authorized check signer has a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
sure.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay, our school-based mental health contract for the 22-23 school year.
Yeah, so we have the same, contract essentially with Polk County. Last summer, we had summer services because we had summer break, but we felt like it was a good service to be able to provide for our students. This one is a year-round calendar where we have them employed with us the whole time. You can see it's essentially the same other than that, just obviously the dates have been changed moving forward. Dana, working with Polk County, has been really good. Working with her and explaining what we're looking to do with some of our access to students. As I said, we'll have some availability online for students, so it's easier that way. In person in Dallas, in person here, and even, like I said, some different events that they'll be able to do to get interactive, the kids interacting together as well. both here and then even some things like, Tudor Park or something like that as well. So I think having that availability is really important for our students and families. And Stephanie is also the one that has pretty good knowledge of the different resources available from the county to help provide any type of wraparound services that our students may need.
So I just have a question
Yeah.
for the summer.
Mhm.
Like how would someone go about utilizing it? How did it go?
So we're actually going to send that. I wanted to wait until after we had this
I think
discussion
maybe you
tonight.
mentioned that during the.
Yeah. So we'll send it out, but I wanted to make sure it was all approved tonight and that we definitely want to do the summer aspect. And then I talked with Stephanie and Dana a couple weeks ago, and they agree. And then we'll go ahead and send a message out to all of our families, and we'll put it on the Facebook page and our website. Probably more important to put it on the Facebook page, honestly. And then we can also push it to the other ones. The Perrydale Community, what's it called again?
Community forum?
No,
Community
There's another one.
information watch.
Perrydale, yeah, I knew one of you knew the name. So the Perrydale Community Information
Just the
Watch.
button for you.
Yeah, there we go. But try to push it forward, but we will send it all out to all the parents.
So if like a that summer utilization would be like if there's a family that has to reach out and have some sort of option.
Yeah.
And same thing, I think administratively and staff, they can come to you and you'll point people in the right direction.
Yeah, and we definitely already have some people very interested. That tentatively we have some appointments, getting appointments made for them already.
Good.
So, it was approved tonight.
Okay.
And it was already, we budgeted for this amount, just in case that was the route we were going to.
And we talked about this before, that there's not a spot last year for the school board to, or school board members.
Yeah, that is interesting. This was their standard contract. We could even cross that out and it could be by you. It's fine. We can just put district chair. Or I can call them and ask them to send a new page for the,
Or we could just write on it.
that's what I'm saying. We can just write on there and just write chair. Fine with me, if you want to go ahead and do that, but if you want something more official, I could go do that. Or get that from you tomorrow.
Thanks for bringing this before the board this year. Can we get a motion?
I'll move approval of the contract for 2022, 2023 for an intergovernmental agreement between Polk County and Perrydale School District for school-based mental health services.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the school-based mental health contract with Polk County and Perrydale School District. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay, F, elementary numbers. Siblings.
Found that here.
I can do that.
You sure?
Yeah. I do, thank you.
So these are the numbers that I sent you this last weekend. I talked about some of the sibling situations we're running into when we're talking with families. And then also I did put on there some numbers for 9th, 10th, and 11th. I put them all on there, but I had specifically talked about elementary, so I just wanted to really focus on that, but then there are some other spots I wanted to bring your attention to. So with second grade, right now we have 21. Thank you. We have 21 with 3 siblings on the lottery list. On third grade, we have 22. Looks like we're possibly going to lose 2 others to moves. 3 siblings on the lottery list. And then fifth grade, we have 20 students, only one sibling on the lottery list. So we're just looking to see if, again, have been inordinate times. We've had a lot larger number of students that we're trying to make sure that we fill to come to our school for the 22-23 school year than we do in a typical year, I'd say. I appreciate the discussion on kindergarten and first last time and 12th grade. We did fill those spots. So we had a drawing a few weeks ago.
For which one?
For KM1. And then 12th, we didn't really have a drawing because we didn't really have that many students. It was, we had one student who said they may have interest, and then we had some exchange students. One was in district and one was a sibling, or quote unquote sibling of somebody. So that's where we are right now. We do expect to lose 2 students who are moving to different schools in that senior class, so we'll be kind of back where we were. And we try to give you the best up-to-date forecast of what we had, and that was as of this morning when I talked with Missy.
So this is for sure. Currently, we have 2 exchange students in the 12th grade? Or we're just guessing?
Well, we received some paperwork on the second one today. So I don't know if that's a for sure thing. I need to talk to the host parents still to see if that's a for sure thing. So if that is, that would be the second one that we have. That we'd be able to fill the spot for.
And didn't you ask to fill the 11th grade too? Or just?
It was just the 12th grade that we had, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just the 12th grade at that point. You do see 9th, 10th, and 11th. I was just showing you some numbers that were there. But again, I was trying to focus more on the elementary because that's what we were hearing about. But if you did want to have a discussion on those other 3 that I had asterisks by, I think our middle school's in pretty good position numbers-wise at this point. This we may not have to revisit it after registration, but some of these numbers are a little bit low, especially when we do plan on losing conservatively, I'd say 6, but I think it's going to be a larger number. And that, again, most of those are moves to other locations, either in our state or out of state. We do have a couple others that are signaling that they're looking to go to another school, private school. At this time.
So when it's red, 4th grade says with 1 sibling, is that number 26 with the sibling added?
No, 26 is already where we are. The red one's basically, I put that on there to signal to me when I talk with you to make sure you folks knew we weren't talking about anything in those classes because those spots, those numbers, we're already at spots where, going into registration, we wouldn't really want to be any higher.
Okay.
The blue number to the right is something I think that may be palpable for those because of where we are.
So when it says 2nd grade, 21, with 3 siblings on the lottery list, so it's 21 and the
Then
blue is the 3. If you added it, it'd be 24.
24 of them. Yes.
Just those 3 grades.
That's-
Like 3rd and 5th.
That's all I was really looking at. If you wanted to talk about the other 3, I'm not going to not talk, but we can try to wait on those as well. Like I said, I just was really focused on the elementary because that was dependent on some of the people saying yes or no in kindergarten, 1st grade.
So 5th. So can you explain 5th grade? to
Sure.
me?
5th grade, we have 1 sibling, but we're at 20 right now. Again, traditionally, we haven't had a large number of students that register at registration in August where you'd have 2 or 3 coming to the same class. I was able to talk to teachers on this. In fact, I spoke again with our K through 3, 1 through 3 earlier today. They were all here working on some items, so I spoke again with all of them, me and Christy. I spoke with Christy again about this last week as well, about where we were.
Or are you guys wanting to let the siblings plus 4 into 5th grade?
Sibling is included in that 4.
Oh, okay.
So just 4 total, including 1 sibling. So it'd be up to 24 at this point.
2nd grade would be 24, 3rd grade would be 24, 5th grade
basically 24. Yeah, that way in case we get one, you never know, maybe you get another one. But would I love to get all three siblings in? Sure, but we also have to realize that we're not in August yet, and let's see where we are and go from there at that point. And yes, there's things because that's just one, but we can talk.
So
about
ninth grade is 22. What is the list two siblings mean there?
So we have two siblings on the list right now,
Waiting list?
the lottery list. Yeah, not trying to correct you. I just want to make sure I said
Right,
that. Yeah,
sorry. I meant like in
I
the
knew
office.
you're saying yes.
Okay. But you're not asking to add those siblings to ninth grade?
I did not ask that at this time, but if that's something the board would like to do, I'm fine with that also. I know
22 with the losing two.
it'd be 20 then.
So I just have a question about the lottery.
Yes.
Like, if I wanted, like, if I was out of district, wanted my kids to go to Perrydale, and they contact you and you say there's a lottery, are they given a timeline when those lottery decisions are gonna be done? When do they have to sign up?
So what we do is we call all those people that
Yeah.
said, and we've actually already been trying to whittle that list down this spring for all of them. And then we'll say, okay, you have to let us decide, within a week or two. And then they have that time to go ahead and say if they for sure want to be on the lottery list.
Okay, so my concern was just us making a decision tonight doesn't screw up some family that hasn't made a decision yet. And are,
Yeah. we don't-
like, they're not thinking like, oh, there's still opportunity to get into the lottery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, usually we've had everybody that's usually already on the list.
Yeah.
Again, that we've reached out to, that's reached out to us, and then we have them on
Yeah.
the list, we reach back out to them and communicate with them.
Maybe.
But we
Yeah,
could also,
If we let
also,
these siblings in though, he's not opening that to lottery.
No, I
So we
understand
kind of-
that.
Or if somebody wants to be
Yeah.
on the lottery list and we let the siblings in, which we can do by law, and typically it's what we've done historically, siblings means one of the family members are going here, right?
Yeah.
So typically we give preference if there's an opening spot to the siblings first. If it doesn't fill it, then we go to the lottery list for that class.
so for example, when we did the kindergarten and first grade, those weren't really, we had a couple that were siblings, but a lot of those were outside that we drew. And then with the fifth grade, for example, one would be a sibling, but 3 spots would be open. if
We will,
wanted to
we will
fill.
do a traditional lottery for fifth grade.
Okay, I got
Is
it.
what
I
he's
got it.
asking
Yeah,
for,
I
for
got it.
3 spots.
And then for the third grade, we'd actually have a lottery for 2 spots if we went at that number with the 3 kids' names because they're siblings and they have, by law, they can have one. And then if we decided to do 9th, 10th, and 11th, if you decide to do anything with those, then again, only 9th grade would have siblings with that, and the other ones would just be open. I don't know why 10th was in. I think just because I didn't have seniors already asked me to hear, we talked about them. So, 9th and 11th grade. 11th grade would be the one.
If we're letting siblings in right now to get your numbers a little more solidified and let families be able to plan and be prepared, I don't know why we wouldn't let the 2 siblings into 9th grade.
I feel the same way, but I didn't know how you felt.
Yeah, I totally agree.
If you're gonna let the
Yeah.
siblings in. And I thought we discussed it, but you said just the 12th. I know 11th grade is really tough for us to always get anybody in. And I think that if you open a lottery right now for your 11th grade, you're gonna be much more successful in getting numbers than if you wait until after registration. I know that means we might get 1 or 2 that like show up. Kind of odd, that's why I wanted to ask about the
Yeah.
school numbers, because I was like, we got an 11th grader at the end of the school year this year? How did that happen? But, I mean, it's odd, but it happens. Personally, we're probably taking exchange students, and we'll have our paperwork and everything done this week. So I don't know that I want you to open up too much more to 12th grade, although you're only at 20, right? Including those
Yeah,
two
we're,
exchange.
it looks like, when I say looks like, it's like a slam dunk that we're losing at least 2.
Okay.
Because they're switching parents. And so it looks like that, those are definitely moves. And then, so then yeah, that would put us back down to 18 then we locked them.
And you're not counting a potential exchange student that might move in with us, right? Or you
That was
are?
the parent I hadn't confirmed with yet, but I got paperwork on today.
Okay. Yeah.
I just wasn't going to say your name in front of everybody if you didn't want me to. So.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be really honest, the grandson asked us to have that for exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, if you're gonna open up to the other siblings, I would prefer that we also let the ninth grade siblings in. That's my preference, and I don't know how everybody else feels, but I feel like if you're opening up 12th grade for a lottery, I think you probably should be also looking at your 11th graders, just because I know how hard it is. And typically what that means is that 11th and 12th just stay lower numbers every year. Yeah, I agree.
So then so go ahead and let the 2 in for the 9th grade, and then what are we looking at for 11th grade?
Well, you want to be sitting at what, 24, 25? What number are you hoping for?
24 to 25, and I don't know how many juniors we will end up getting, but
Do you have any juniors on the lottery list?
I'd have to look. I was looking more for siblings today than I was at lottery list. I
Okay.
know for the younger grades we do, but as you've said,
11th
sometimes
and
it's
12th
tough.
is
That
tough.
11th and 12th grade to fill those is pretty difficult.
But also, if there is one or two on the list in the office for the lottery, I think you should open it up and do the lottery and get them in. And the only reason I say that is because it's easier for them to make that commitment straight out in June.
I
But
agree.
it's going to be after registration mid-August, when they've already bought supplies, already gone to a summer camp for basketball or whatever. It's just easier to get them involved when you've got fair coming up and everything else. It's easier to get them. If the lottery's there and they want you,
I agree. Especially with some of the uncertainty too of senior class as well, with the numbers there.
because you haven't done the lottery yet for the 12th grade, right?
Well, we really only had 3 students. One wasn't really interested, and one is coming to take a look this next week.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's still open.
Okay. That's what I would do, but you don't have to do that.
No, I would like to do that. I would definitely entertain that.
Do you guys have anything
I'm fine with
negative against what I do?
that. No, I think we need to try to get.
All right. You don't really need a motion, do you? Yes, you do, for the lottery.
So again, what I'm asking for is 3 in 2nd grade, 2 in 3rd grade, 4 in 5th grade. Then it would be 2 in the 9th grade and 2 in the 11th grade.
But you don't need the 12th grade in.
No, because those were open.
Okay. Brian, you wanna?
Yeah, do I need to say what preference siblings?
Yeah, Andy can just say which preference, you know, that it'd be good for on record.
I'll move to approve, 3 students from the lottery list for 2nd grade, 2 for 3rd grade, 4 for 5th grade, 2 for 9th grade, 2 for 11th.
It's been moved and seconded for 22-23 enrollment for students through the lottery. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, meal prices. You're on the hot seat again, Dan.
You bet. So our numbers for breakfast have been really low. We were at $1.25 for elementary breakfast and $1.50 for high school. And as you all probably saw last week, the prices went up 14.8% for food prices, grocery store prices. We're not proposing any change to the lunches. Those were $2.75 for K through 5 and $3.25 for 6 through 12. we're talking with Christy Starr, who does our lunch program. She really encouraged us to look at $2 for breakfast because that's more realistic about what the charge is. Spoke with Lorraine about this as well. She felt comfortable with at least just raising the breakfast instead of looking to really do the lunch ones. Christy felt like lunch was doable, but the breakfast one was really difficult we're losing money every time.
So you want to do $3.25 for breakfast?
No, $3.25 still for 6 through 12 lunch.
No.
$2 for breakfast.
Oh, not
Not
raise
raise
it by two.
No,
Raise
just
it.
$2. Yep,
$2.
$2 total,
And
sorry.
same rate for elementary and high
Same rate
They
for
get the
elementary,
same-
they get the same
They
meal.
don't say breakfast.
So for high school, it's only 50 cents. And for
Mhm.
elementary, I don't know which one.
And at the same
75
time,
cents addition.
Oh, because it's 125?
Yeah.
Okay.
and at the same time, what we're going to send out to families, both in written form, online, via email, and also on the Facebook page, and we'll start doing that after July 1st. Oregon has the expanded program, which for a family of 5, if you make up to $97,000, then your lunch would actually be free. So we want to get that information out. There's actually a list that shows how many people in the family. We think that will help capture that, and we'll get reimbursed from the state on those prices, and that would be for breakfast and lunches, I understand. So,
In this past year, or past years where there hasn't been like charges, do the feds like reimburse on like what your rate is or on like how did the reimbursement count? Was it on like these prices or was it on like your actual
it
prices?
was a higher amount.
It was on the summer option, which means they have standard rate. It was nothing to do with our price.
Oh, so they have a rate that they pay and you had to fit.
And this was
within
the
that. Okay.
price from a few years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew
from
that,
1920.
yeah, okay.
Lorraine and Cindy had spoken with somebody from, what, did I say something wrong? Did I just say something? Okay, no problem.
You said 1920.
Yeah, from 1920.
1920.
Oh,
Yes,
1920.
please.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Well,
Someone
are
else
you
who works in a school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Somebody works in a school.
I thought you were exaggerating because you're like, this was
No,
a
yeah,
few years
this is
from
just 21, 22, so yeah, 2021. Anyway,
I'm trying to be all funny.
Yeah, okay.
so, those were a little bit older, but they spoke with the person from, I guess it was ODE, Child Nutrition.
We never got a hold of her.
Oh, you never got
We
back.
tried
Yeah.
a lot.
So they were encouraging districts to try to keep that amount the same for lunches, if best they could, just because it's going to be a sticker shock for our families. Those that are going to go back to paying it, it's definitely, going from free to paying again is going to be a little bit of a wake up.
Especially doing that.
Yeah. Inflation, recession, stagflation. So it's, whatever we can do to get the messaging. Yeah, exactly. All of the above really is, I think, what it is. So we want to get that information out. Christy was really good about getting that to us end of last week before and making sure that we knew to wait until July 1st so they could do the paperwork. We'll have the paperwork again online, and then we'll also have it at registration. So families can fill it out. We're going to do whatever we can to encourage families to do that. So that's what we're looking for. $2 again, that Chrissy felt that would help cover the costs and be more realistic. We realize it's an increase. But again, since 2019, 2020, things have definitely gone up.
I'll move to increase breakfast.
Been moved and seconded to increase breakfast prices. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Welcome to the days of $2 breakfast.
Yes.
Okay, 6H, DMP amendment.
Yes, so on this one, we had put out an early bid process for electrical to try to get an electrician on board to start working with PGE and try to get them to get the ball rolling. We are kind of stuck in the mud with PG until we had somebody really on board to be able to give us the design of what, everybody working together to figure out what design we needed. Switchgear is about 9 months out in order to get all the electrical gear. After they had 3 companies that actually bid it, another one came out but just was too swamped. They couldn't end up doing it. And the subcontractor Gerding is going with is somebody close by, obviously, McMullen Electric. Not only are we excited because we felt like they always do right by us, it also was a good deal for us as well. But Jed McMullen and this group have done a lot of our projects around here and have a thorough understanding of our system around here. I think a lot of us have worked with Jed before and have been very pleased with professionalism and follow through that Jed has with his projects. So, as a district, not always getting all the say on, what happens with who's going to end up bidding it or not. We were very happy to see that his company not only bid it, but also was the one that ended up getting the contract from Gerding. So with that, it's an amendment, and it was a sizable amount, so that's why I want to make sure I came to you folks with it. Because this is,
But do we really need to vote on it?
not necessarily, you gave the authority, but
Right.
because it's a sizable amount, I felt like I needed to make sure I brought it to you folks, so you're aware of the situation. So if we're all right with that, and I get a consensus, I can move forward. But again, I wanted to make sure that was something that you folks were good with. I will say, and Steve didn't do it, we are doing really well so far on the budget. We get our other bids back here in the next few weeks, but we look like we're going to have pretty good coverage for bids. Is their early indication, and we have some local people that are very interested in helping out. Everything from landscape to excavation to paint to electrician. We had a plumber that somebody knew that they're just swamped. They weren't able to do it, but they were given the opportunity. So that's one thing I feel like Gerding's been very receptive to, is welcoming those people to come be part of the process and have a good shot at it. So
I want to just, I don't feel like we need to vote on it because we had a consensus, but I really appreciate the transparency and just in whatever direction it is on these, just keep bringing it to us and let us be aware and put it in the public meetings so the public knows. I appreciate that.
absolutely.
All right. Okay, so moving on, patron input. Nobody? Okay. Board comments? None. Announcements and dates of importance?
Just the next board meeting. I looked at the calendar and I was like, it's summer, there's nothing happening.
Okay. And our meeting is on the 18th, 16th, I don't have my
I think
calendar.
it's the
I think it is.
July 18th.
And that's.
OSBA is 7th through the 10th, 8th through the 10th of July.
Anybody
Is
go?
it the 7th?
You
Pretty
come, Hank.
much the entire month of July.
You're gonna have to bring a tent.
I gotta work. There is no days off for me. My busy season doesn't end until September.
And the 18th is when you'll get the GMP from Gerding as well.
The 8th.
The 18th, they get on the 8th. The 18th is when we'll discuss it, but I'm pushing them to have it to you by the 11th, hopefully by the afternoon of the 11th. Knowing that it may be the 12th, but at least we'll push them on the 11th.
You want your work session 6:30 like normal for July?
One of the things we've done a lot in July is end up pushing our meeting later. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. Brian, it's 6:30. Good for you, or did you want to meet later in the evening?
6:30 will be fine. I have to join by.
And you will do
I can do later.
your
Want to do later?
board chair and vice chair. Your
Oh,
new
yeah, I'm
stuff.
very aware.
You'll do that in July. So 6:30 work session. Same.
Does that work?
I wouldn't mind not starting till 7. but
Okay.
Do you guys get set if you do that? Can we do that?
No, we can just. skip
Work
the consent
session,
agenda
7?
and Just, no, to start the meeting, so we'll skip our consent agenda. Right? I don't think we have anything to work on.
I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
We
Yeah.
just start the
Okay,
meeting at
so
7.
just no work
Yeah,
No
session.
work session.
No work
session at 7.
Okay. And I will send out the Google Doc with the templates and stuff for our goals, so that we can have those ready for. Okay, if that's all, we will adjourn at 8:30. Thanks, guys.